Welcome to the What the Fred podcast, your gateway to cultivating an unstoppable mindset.
What's up, everybody? My name is Fred Martinez. I hope you guys are having a blessed and awesome day. I am the author of What the Fred. We're going to go ahead and talk about the 10 action steps to take for focus. Number 1, set clear goals. Define your goals and make them specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Write them down to keep yourself accountable. Oh, how many times have we set ourselves out for New Year's? We have these goals that we want to accomplish, but we never write them down. We don't go ahead and using the SMART goal, which I defined already, which is your specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. That by using a SMART goal and you're writing it down, you know what you need to get done. So when you write things down on a piece of paper, you know that it will get done because you're putting your thoughts onto paper and you're putting motion within that paper and you're writing it down, because there's a big difference between writing it down versus you speaking it into your phone, into your computer, or typing it away. When you write it down on a piece of paper, you have that mind, body, physical connection and emotional connection with it. But when you're typing it away, it's just binary dust. So write it down. Number 2, prioritize tasks. Make a list of all the tasks that need to be completed and prioritize them based on the urgency and importance. I use a thing called the Eisenhower matrix. Whenever I have big, huge tasks that need to be done, I know that based on what is urgent and important that need to get done, what are the things that I can do, and what are the things that I will delegate. And when you look at doing those things, you only focus on the things that you can accomplish. You're not focusing on the things that, you can accomplish it, but it's not, you have a certain timeline to get things done. If you can outsource it, then you outsource it, you delegate it, let somebody else do that work while you focus on the other stuff that you're a subject matter expert in. Number 3, break tasks into smaller steps. Break down your task into smaller steps, manageable steps, to make them less overwhelming and easily accomplished. Yeah, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You can't go ahead and look at this big, huge, gargantuan goal because you're just going to feel overwhelmed. But when you break those down into smaller little tasks and then breaking those tasks into smaller little subtasks, you have a sense of accomplishment and you feel that you're making steps forward. If it's like you have the 100-yard dash as an example, it might look so far away, but it's one step at a time. But if you break things down into smaller little steps, you're getting closer and closer to seeing that goal. And then as you get closer and closer to that goal, you can see yourself it's a clearer picture. Because when you're looking from a distance, it's like this. But when you're but as you get closer, you got to see things differently, different perspectives. Number 4, create a schedule. Plan your day or week in advance and block off time. Specific tasks will help you keep you stay on track and avoid distractions. I ended up getting this big ass calendar so I can plant on my wall, and I know all the stuff that I want to accomplish within the year. And I know that when I write it down, that I know that I have this time period. I cannot do anything else. Everything else is blocked off. And if something else comes in that I would love to do, I'm sorry, I can't do it because I've already set in stone what I'm going to accomplish. Is that being rigid? I was like, it's my life, okay? It's what I want to do. And I also know that you have to plan for things. Me being an athlete, I would go ahead and plan for a weightlifting competition is I would have to go ahead and set up down the road on how things need to be done, knowing that I have to hit my peak at a certain time. at a certain date at this event, and I work backwards, and I would go ahead and have my training, like doing a 12-week cycle, knowing that I'm leading up to it and building up to that I'm hitting at a higher number. I'm hitting my peak. That's the whole thing about doing a thing called periodization. It's the same thing that you use in business, the same thing that you use in life. Writing things down, and you know the things that you want to accomplish, you're going to achieve them by writing them down. Number 5, eliminate distractions. Remove any distractions that may hinder your focus, such as turning off your phone or closing unnecessary tabs on your computer. Yeah, that's the biggest thing right there about distractions, because people come in and out of your office and you're not able to get the things done that you would love to get done. And because of that, you can't get your stuff accomplished. This is one thing I've learned. I would put like in my little cubicle office, I would go ahead and put this little chain, and I'd put a note on there that says, do not disturb. And then I would go ahead and send me an email if it's important, or it can wait. I would go ahead and let my boss know, saying, hey, this is highly important. And if there's something that comes in that you think that is highly more important than the task that I'm working on, then, only then, or the building's on fire, you can go ahead and contact me. But first, I would like for you to go ahead and delegate this to somebody else because I need to get this task done. And it said, if this thing can wait for a few days, let's wait. Because what employers or what people think this is an emergency, it's not an emergency. They can figure it out on their own. And that's how you eliminate distractions, as well as taking off the phone and just putting in airplane mode, turning it off. There's no need to have it. You have that constant scroll. We hear that ding. And when you hear that ding, we're trained like Pavlov's dog now. Now, have you noticed that? Whenever there's a ding, you got to pick up that phone, because especially where you got that emotional connection to hearing that, that's the reason why they created that notifications. Same thing with social media. They're trained us like Pavlov's dog. Number 6, take breaks. Give yourself time to rest and recharge. Take a short break after completing a task. Set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes each hour. I do things a little bit different with that. I ended up I used my technique based off of the Pomodoro technique, where mine is called the time quarter motion method. And what that is you work hard for 25 minutes on your task without any distractions. Then after that 25 minutes, you go ahead and take a 5-minute break. You're either going to do some walk around the block. You're going to go ahead and do some air squats. Maybe you're going to go ahead and do a little bit of chair aerobics, whatever it is, but you're always being in motion. And the main reason why is you're keeping that blood flow going. When you get that blood flow into your body, you're thinking about it as you're giving the nutrients into your brain. And when you're trying to solve a problem, this right here with going for a little walk and talking about the problem, you might get an epiphany, and you might get an answer to the problem that you're trying to solve by actually talking yourself through the situation by going through a walk and talk. Or, who cares what other people think that you're talking to yourself? Doesn't matter. And if you want to know more about the time quarter motion method, send me a comment down below. If you purchased my book, you'll hear more about the details of how I set that up. Number 7, practice mindfulness. Practice being present in the moment and focus on the task at hand. This helps you reduce stress and increase productivity. It's the same thing about eliminating your distractions, being in that present moment, knowing that this is your task and this is what needs to be accomplished, and you're only focusing on that. That's how you be in that moment. You're not letting other distractions of squirrel, not getting easily distracted. And that's the whole thing about when we're on the phone, or when we have our phone on, and you hear the ding notification, or you need to text somebody or whatever, or you're constantly scrolling on social media. That's a time waster. That's a time wasting. It kills your productivity. Number 8, get organized. Keep your workspace clean and organized, and make sure you have all the necessary tools and resources within reach. Yeah, that's really big about being organized. I was working on a project. It was a woodworking project. And what I ended up doing was I made a list of all the things that I needed to purchase when I went to Home Depot. So I got all everything that you can imagine. I got different sizes of screws or whatever that I needed to get. And I will go back and return the rest, because one thing I've learned is you have to buy more of and buy different sizes, just in case things do not work out, that you at least have something so you can continue moving forward. Because what's worse than you working on something and then all of a sudden you got to take off and go to Home Depot to go pick up some more resources. Have everything right then and there. Having a task list that needs to get done by the end of the day, because you have certain things that might have a dependency. That's the whole thing about eliminating distractions, and it helps you out by being organized. When you're organized, especially when you have your desk fully clean and only focusing on what needs to be done, what's relevant on your task, that's it. Because everything all of a sudden will be like, oh wow, look, and you start fidgeting with that thing, and with that, then you lose your then you're distracted, you lose that synergy, you're not being a momentum and movement of getting your task done. Number 9, stay motivated by reminding yourself of your goals and celebrate the small wins along the way. That's the whole thing about motivation, is just lighting the fire. It's not actually getting you to accomplishing the stuff. All it is just lighting the fire, and you know what needs to be done. So what you could do is you can go ahead and have your outcome of what you want to achieve. You see it all through the day. It's the first thing you see in the morning. It's the last thing you see at night. You know what needs to be done. A lot of athletes do this all the time. I know a lot of athletes that have made the Olympic team, and how they would see things. They lived their life of being that athlete. And what they would also do is they would put it out there of being the Olympian and being a world champion. Whatever it is that they were trying to accomplish, they would act like it, live it, and see it, visualizing it, feeling it within their body. And when you do that, you're more emotionally connected to it, and that's going to drive you, especially when the times that you do not want to train, you do not want to get up, you do not want to put pen on paper, whatever it is that you're trying to do, because you're like just going through the motions. But when you are going through this, that you are practicing stuff in the dark, when you want to have the celebration in front of other people, you need to do your work. And number 10, evaluate your progress. Evaluate your progress and adjust your approach as needed to improve your focus and achieve your goals. It's all about feedback. It's all about feedback, baby. That's what I always say. Feedback is that's giving you the input. It's just like a rocket. When a rocket is taking off and launching into a certain place in orbit, what ends up happening is there has to be course correction, because the wind, everything is going to take that into different consideration. Because if you think that this is going to be a straight line, have you ever done this in your car? Be in your car and take your hand off the steering wheel. You're going to see the car start veering to the left or to the right. It's going to start drifting. And especially when the road has different angles, you're going to see things different. It's not going to be it's not going to go ahead and go in that straight line that you think it should be. It's not. The thing there is you're going to have to always course correct. And that's the whole thing about when you're driving on a trip. You're course correcting onto that road. Say like you're driving from LA to New York. You just plot a line and you say, this is where you're going to go. That's not the case, because of unless you're flying or whatever. But even if you're flying, you have to course correct also. But you're on these roads, and without on these roads, you have to be making your turns. That type of thing. That what goes on in life. You're always making the corrections to go ahead, and that's your feedback. Your feedback is giving you how you can change something for the going forward. When you do a job interview, as an example, where you're going to go ahead and get feedback from the employer that what you said, what you did, or how did you come across, if you get that feedback, then you know going forward on how you can come across differently, because that's how life is. It's a job. You're getting your 360 review from your boss of how you can do things differently. Maybe you didn't toot your own horn. Maybe you were too busy only focusing on this one thing and you totally forgot about something else. You need to have that feedback. The one thing I've learned in life is to have that constant feedback, because you don't want to wait until the last minute. So then you're all of a sudden you're going this trajectory and you're way off to a different angle, whereas you should have been out here, but you're here. Then all of a sudden it's like now that big long course correct is a huge issue. And I worked in a company where we had a satellite that got launched into and was in orbit in the wrong location where it should have been, and they had to spend all this resources of fuel in order to move it into the correct orbit. They didn't plan that at all, but all of a sudden it's because of where it got deployed. And And it's because they were off in a different course. It's the same thing with life. When you're off in a different course, it takes more energy to get you back on course. So the one thing I learned about feedback, as you're going, always have feedback. Constantly adding the feedback, getting a feedback loop on everything that you're doing. And that means like doing a status report every single day or every single week. It's like, what are the things that you accomplished? What are the things that you have issues on? What's holding you back? And giving that to your employer, giving that to your boss, your immediate supervisor, and basically saying, hey, I need some assistance. Give me some feedback. By asking that, you're getting directed feedback so it can help keep you on track on getting that task done. So my friends, I'm Fred Martinez. I'm the author of What the Fred, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and share. And as I always say, you guys have a blessed and awesome day. Be about it instead of talking about it, and namaste.